Twelve fugitives left behind their everyday lives in a quest for £100,000 in the UK's biggest game of hide and seek.
Whilst the hunt may be over for now, there's still stories to be told as we open up the interrogation room to some of our fugitives.
How did they stay hidden? How did they cope with the mental battle as they were being chased by a team of expert hunters?
Unit standby. Active message.
If you see them, take them out.
I mean, he looks like an absolute bellend. What kind of car will you be driving?
A Mercedes S-Class.
I mean, this is on a plate. Thanks again, Tony. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks for all of that, Tony. That was most helpful.
Yeah, I've actually got a lot of anxiety. I'm actually scared they're going to come here now.
Crucially, Kirsty and Bex, we want you into that Nando.
Fuck's sake! I can't figure it out. How you found us?
Because we're sharper, mate. We're sharper.
I gave you a good one. Did you enjoy the show, darling?
Can I just say, no, you were just 21 seconds too slow.
Oh, wow!
Storm the Nando's. Storm the Nando's. Storm the Nando's.
No, we are now approaching the southern tip of Victoria. We've got eyes on the Port Island of it.
Just stand by. We have eyes in the sky.
You must have so many splinters in your ass. Get off the fence and pick.
They haven't got a Scooby that he's one of us.
Cheeky fucking bastard. Dipshits.
Get hold of him!
Bobby! Bobby Seagull, you're someone running it over.
We said that we wanted a clean sweep from day one. The work that you have done in this room is absolutely outstanding. We've set the standard now. No one is ever going to get to extraction, right? Yes! Come on! We've worked our socks off for the past 2 weeks for the clean sweep. Game on, bring on next year.
My name's Craig.
And I'm Nat. We're a couple who are obsessed with Channel 4's Hunted.
So much so we started a podcast all about it on a mission to answer those unanswered questions.
Like, should Channel 4 News have a recast and give 2 menopausal women the job?
Or at least their own late night chat show. Like, imagine the chaos. Ratings winner though, right?
Yes. Exactly how many disguises did the mistresses of disguise actually have?
We'll never know. And did Nana Muscuri and Vera Lynn, aka Kathy and Anida, actually venture further than East Sussex during their 12-day adventure?
Let's find out as we welcome Kathy and Anida to the Hunted podcast.
Trigger warning, I have a feeling we're all going to be hurt from laughter after this one. Play the montage.
Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep on this scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
Hello and welcome back to the Hunted podcast, where it might sound a little bit echoey today because there is a very valid reason for it, because we've come all the way back to Leicester. We're in a random room which says the print room, although I think we should rename it today, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think we should.
What should we rename it?
The podcast room.
The podcast room. And why should we rename it the podcast room?
Because we're recording a podcast in it.
Absolutely we are. And who are we recording a podcast with?
The mistresses of disguise.
I mean, do we even know that we've got Kathy and Anida in the room?
I don't know.
I've got no idea if they're actually here. No idea if not. If you haven't guessed already, well, you'll know by the title of the episode, we are delighted to be joined by Kathy and Anida, aka the Mistresses of Disguise. A little bit of a behind the scenes, of course. It's not the first time we've met them, is it?
No, it isn't. We met them yesterday.
Yes, at the Hunted Meet, Greet and Eat event. Great night if you were there. Well done to everyone involved for raising so much money for Stand Up to Cancer. We all had a great night, and even Kirsty, bless her, she finally, after 2 failed attempts, she got her hands on Jackson Nicola, didn't she?
She did, yes. She finally got that capture.
Very, very funny indeed. Just before we go into the episode, remind people where they can get involved.
Twitter @HuntedPod, Instagram @HuntedPod, Facebook HuntedPod, email huntedpod@outlook.com, or send WhatsApp messages and voice notes to 07907 038 211.
You've done really well to remember that.
You've done that before, I can tell.
Yeah, she doesn't always remember it, to be fair, but there you go. Brilliant. How are you both? Because obviously last night was a really good event, sort of seeing people.
God, it was amazing.
It was fantastic. We had an absolutely amazing time, didn't we?
It was such a lovely, lovely experience. And it sounds stupid to say there was love in the room, but there really was. It was amazing. And we were so pleased to meet you. Yeah, we were so pleased to meet you.
Thank you.
Anna drove up, and it was just amazing because when we came in the room, people were coming up to us like they knew us. And we like we said before, we felt invisible, and all of a sudden there was all these people coming up, bringing their kids up, bringing their kids, saying, "Can you have your photograph taken with us?" So it was just a lovely event, wasn't it?
And it was really nice to meet the hunters and the other people involved in the show as well. Wasn't it? And actually speak to them instead of just running away from them. Made a nice change.
There was alcohol there, which was a slight.
That always helps.
We just had a great time.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it was so good to see you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed yourself and had a good time and met sort of previous series winners and previous fugitives as well. I think it was really good to sort of bring all the Hunted family together. Lots of things we've been sort of sent there on social media, and that is, of course, questions about what the hell the Mistress of Disguise got up to, because we sort of saw you for a little bit, then we didn't see you, and we were thinking, oh my God, these two are going to go all the way, and then all of a sudden, that was it. You went to the bloody regatta, and then you were taken out of the game.
Yeah.
How have you found the response? Before we delve into your full story, how have you found the response on social media since the show aired about your time on the run and about you two as people?
Everyone's been really complimentary and really lovely, actually. I have to admit, I get quite anxious about things, and I was terrified that we were going to get trolled for being middle-aged and overweight, and people were going to take the mickey out of us.
But to be fair,
everyone has been
so
lovely. Yeah, they just found us entertaining. I mean, we were just being us. There's no falsity. We literally just embraced the moment and had an amazing laugh, just being with each other and having time just being us.
I think that we were kind of underestimated to begin with a little bit by the hunters. They thought we were the weakest, and yeah, to a degree we were. We're not the fittest, are we? But you know,
it didn't look like we were taking it that seriously, to be honest.
It was such a surprise. Everybody ran up yesterday and said, "Oh, you were," and on social media they're like, "Oh, girls, why did you go to the regatta? You know, you were doing so well."
Everyone wanted us to win, and
of course there was a reason we went to the regatta. Yeah,
but you know, it's entertainment as well at the end of the day, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
So.
But do we regret it? No. Would I do it again? I'd go tomorrow, given the chance. I loved it.
Yeah, we had an amazing time. We actually cried with the camera crew. Even the camera crew were crying at the last interview. Yeah. It was just really lovely. It was really emotional as well when we finished, wasn't it? It really made us feel much better about people. Found some really lovely people out there to help us.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the start then. Take us back to, first and foremost, your sort of knowledge of Hunted. Was it a show that you'd watched before, or was it something that you just sort of saw pop up and...
I was an avid fan, and so I applied on my own. I didn't tell anyone. And they said, "Look, we really like you, but we want couples." And I said, yeah, my friend will do it.
Didn't bother asking me or anything stupid like that.
So I then got in touch with Anna and said, "Anna, I've done something silly." And she said, "Oh God, have you crashed your car?" I said, "No, we're going on Hunted."
And I said, "What's that?" And I'd never watched it in my life. And she said, "Oh, she's just like all blasé. Oh, they just drop you in the middle of nowhere." And I said, "How long's that for?" She said, "Oh, I don't know, like 2 or 3 days or something." 2 or 3 days. Nothing like extracting the Michael, love.
Well, to be fair, my family, when I did go, they said, "We'll see you in a couple of days." So that's the amount of faith they had in me.
And mine were really supportive, I have to say. I think that because they knew of my issues, and they were just really proud that I was doing it and grabbing it with both hands, which I think we definitely did, didn't we?
So how it works, if you don't know, guys, you send in an interview video or a kind of an audition video, just saying who you are and what you like, and then they get back in touch. And
you literally turned up at my clinic, didn't you? So I was right in the middle of. I think I just finished work, and we literally did it completely off the cuff. Just a 2-minute video or a 1-minute video or whatever, which I think we did actually post on our Facebook page so people could have a good laugh at it.
And then we were invited up to London to have an audition, and there and then they sent us out with an extraction point and said, "Go, you've got half an hour to find this extraction point. There was no helicopter waiting, sadly.
And I just froze because I'm thinking, what? What's
So I
this
grabbed
then?
her by
I had
the
no idea
hair
what was going
and
on.
pulled her through the streets of London. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
And then, funnily enough, even when they said, all right, yeah, you're coming up to London and you're doing this, that and the other, we said, are we actually on the show then? And they said, I'm really sorry, we forgot to tell you. Yes, you're taking part. So it's all a surprise.
It is crazy to sort of think that that's how it played out. How do you feel now, Anna, looking back and going, oh my God, you know, it's not something I applied for. I literally did it because my mate did it. We know you sort of like had your worries about going and your anxiety issues and that, which I think actually going on Hunted, actually
it's shot how it's shot.
We've spoke to actually finds out, even though you get sort of PTSD of looking at like Land Rovers and helicopters going over for the top, actually the anxiety thing, it actually helps a little bit because you're forced into a situation.
So it was really facing all of my demons, because I have also got a thing that if I get confronted, I pass out, which would have been quite embarrassing on film. So I managed to overcome that one as well. I didn't even pass out. I was quite impressed with that. But yeah, no, I feel like and I think that's why my family was so supportive as well, because I think probably maybe I needed to do that because I was regressing into myself, and especially after lockdown and having to shut my business down for a while, you sort of don't bother going out. And I think maybe Kathy sort of dragged me out, dusted off the cobwebs and made me go out there and face everything that I've been hiding from. So I think it did us both a world of good. And it was actually just nice just being ourselves with each other instead of being like the mother, the business woman.
It was a bit like a Shirley Valentine moment when you go back to being who you were before you were a mum or a whatever else you were, you know. So we found ourselves again, didn't we?
Our bodies are getting older, but our mind obviously is.
They said we were two schoolgirls trapped in middle-aged women's bodies,
Which
didn't
I
they?
thought was quite nice, actually.
I think I've got a couple in me.
I think I might have eaten half a dozen of them.
How long have you both known each other?
About 30 years,
we worked
isn't it?
it out about 30 years, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you first meet? Where did your paths first cross?
It was at
the local brothel. Anna was working there.
Yeah, she was on reception.
Yeah, I was the madam. I was selling her for £2.50.
Yeah, no, that was with a fag afterwards. No, we were used to go to ladies at lunch meetings.
We both had businesses.
With the
I had a hair and
council.
beauty salon.
And we just used to go to business meetings, and it was just ladies in business, and people would give talks, and we just sort of met. We just hit it off, and then we ended up getting dragged out of the bar at one point, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but apart from that, yeah, no. we just hit it off, and we've sort of drifted in and out of our friendship. We've been really close. We've drifted apart, and then we've come back together. But we just have a connection. I think that when we know that we need each other, we're
we
there.
live very close to each other now, sort of 15 minutes apart, and we see each other every week. So, if ever there's a harebrained scheme, I try and get her involved.
Yeah.
Such as she got me to do the Tough Mudder recently, which
that was fun.
I've really wanted to kill her after that.
But you did deserve
terrible.
that. So I mean, 3 weeks on the
That
run.
also was for cancer. That
Yeah,
I'll stand up
exactly.
to. Was it?
I think the event was for cancer,
And
then
we did it for
also
Mind.
raised money for Mind as well.
Oh, fantastic.
And we did that in our nuns' outfits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little bit muddy.
We had dirty habits by the end
we
of
did
it.
have very dirty habits. And I had an Arctic Hengeman, and I haven't had many of those in my life either.
Was there a fear that going on Hunted would push your friendship beyond the limit?
No.
I don't think that ever occurred to us, to be honest.
I think we just
we just support
the
each
more
other.
we're together, the kind of closer we get to a degree, don't we?
I think so, yeah.
You know?
And I think we just bounce off each other, really.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah.
No, honestly, I never ever did worry about that, to be honest.
And I don't think we even fell out, did we, really?
Never, never.
Not at all.
Not at all.
She just makes me do everything, and I just say yes. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, it works really well.
Let's go to your guys' start on the run. So, launch. Obviously, it was something that we've not seen before, the underground. What were your thoughts on your launch coming up from the underground into the centre of London?
I was actually standing at the bottom of the stairs saying, I want my mum. And she was going, we are warriors, and running up the stairs without me. So, yeah, we really clicked on that bit. And I said, don't run too fast because my hip's gone, love. And she was off like a rocket.
Well, to be fair, neither of us know London at all. And so when they do chuck you out, because you really don't know where you're going to be going at all. And we're like, well, we're a bit stuck now because we don't know London and there's so many CCTV.
I know it to a degree, but not to find my way around without a phone or a map or anything.
So that was pretty tough, I've got to say. You sort of then think, right, what the hell do I do now? And so our master plan was, we know that when you get your cash out, the hunters know where you are. Well, the hunters know we're here anyway, so let's get our cash out. So that was, we thought, a smart move on our part, didn't we? Whether it was or not, I don't know, but we kind of thought that was a plan.
I thought getting changed under the canopy was quite clever.
Yeah, that was a good idea. Very good idea.
Yeah.
How much of your planning was due to the fact that you'd watched Hunted before? Because I think the more and more it's on TV, the more you watch it, and the more you just think that people just turn into be absolute
dipshits.
Just for you. And then you've sort of like, now you've sort of watched it and now you know you're going, you sort of sit back and think, oh no, I don't need to do that. Like the whole money thing, because there's so many fugitives in one place, it is going to be one of those which they might blink and miss, so it's probably the best time. How much of that sort of thought process entered your head when you legged it?
We were really sort of conscious, and a lot of it isn't shown, because if we were staying with somebody, we would write down a message or a note or something for ourselves, and then we thought we were really clever because we'd pull out all the rest of the sheets in case the detectives or the hunters came along and put a pencil over it to see where we were. So there were things like that, but as far as planning, you can't really do anything, can you?
Especially when you've got absolutely no idea where you're even going to be dropped. You've got no clue.
There is, I mean, yeah, like you say, you know, we've seen the show and we know to stay off grid and all those sorts of things. But if you can't get your camping equipment, you can't stay off grid. And so you've got to then get a plan to get to somewhere, to get all your equipment.
It's just literally day by day, isn't it? Day by day, everything changes. You don't know what's going to happen until it happens,
And to be honest,
really.
I think part of our strategy is don't plan, because if we've got a plan, they can follow us.
Exactly.
So we don't want to have a plan, and we were just really lucky that we landed on our feet all the time.
Yeah, I think the gift of the gab might have come into that at some point.
Yeah, we were really lucky.
And just, I think also as well, wherever we went, we tried to help people, and we had fun. So people wanted to help us because they would phone up their friends and then say, you know, they're really good fun to have around, and they mowed the lawn.
No, they just wanted rid of us.
Yeah. Can you take them off our hands, please? Can you get that white van round?
It is so funny just to sort of see how you interact in person, because I think sometimes the TV edit can make you look a certain way, but actually you two are exactly how you are on screen. Pair of couple of giggly schoolgirls. I absolutely love it. Let's go back to that first episode then, because obviously, you know, I think you guys would have sort of thought it in your heads as well. When Ray's watching the screens in HQ, watching everybody burst out past the Eros statue, he goes, right, let's go for the weakest, and he pinpoints you two.
White-haired old ladies.
Yeah, one's grey, by the way.
How did you feel about that? Because I think, would that have been on your mind when you sort of when you were there in the moment, that they would have pinpointed you early?
Yeah, I think it was on our mind even before we left, to be honest.
Do you know
that we just sort of looked around the room and thought,
We're kind of the same as most people. Nobody wants to be first off, do they, you know? So, and you can't worry about that. You've just got to do the best you can. We knew there was a chance we might be first off, but you know, it's a chance you take, isn't it?
We gave it a go. That was our whole attitude. We'd give it a go and see how we get on.
Yeah.
We had no idea how it was going to pan out, did we?
No,
so who knows?
We didn't, to be honest, we didn't take any of it too seriously. And I know that a lot of people sort of said to us yesterday, oh, were you really nervous? What was it like? Were you really scared? And I said, to be honest, no, not at all. Had we got further down the road and the money was in sight, then I think we might have changed and we might have been a bit more nervous. But I think you were nervous, really, but I wasn't.
Terrified, love.
No, and I don't know whether that's stupidity.
You just ignored that.
I just
think the more nervous I am, the less nervous you are.
Yeah, I don't tend to get nervous, luckily.
No.
I think I turn it into excitement, you know. So, luckily we had tenor ladies, or I might have wet myself a few times.
Let's talk about that a little bit before we delve back into, obviously, what you guys got up to on the run. Because you made no secret, and you've made no secret about it, sort of, you know, when you've been doing your lives and stuff, which is hilarious, by the way. Talking about, like, being two menopausal women and sort of showing that any women of any age can do anything they put their mind to.
Yeah.
Well, I think our main point was that as you get older, once your kids are grown up and they don't need you anymore, and you do sort of become invisible, people don't, I mean, like when you're younger, people notice you walking down the street. No one looks at us walking down the street because we're just a couple of middle-aged women. So you just almost lose your identity, the job that you've been doing, bringing your kids up and everything. You've done it, and then you just think, well, that's it. It's like life's over. We just got to like see our way through till we've leave the planet.
I did say that in years gone by we used to turn heads and now we turn stomachs.
And you do, it is, you know, I mean, we were interviewed a lot about the menopause, and that was one thing I was a bit sad that they didn't show, because what we were trying to do was put a shout out for the middle-aged women like us who think that, you know, your bones are achy in the morning, your joints do hurt, you know, life changes, your body changes, but
when we're doing our little
accepting
life
it and talking about it rather than feeling embarrassed of it and feeling you have to hide it, I think.
When we do our little life, sometimes I'll be going to say something to Anna, and I honestly just completely forget what I'm about to say.
The lives, darling. You
Well,
do it
whenever.
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. And do you know what? Although it's funny, it's really quite scary.
It is frustrating.
Because there's dementia in my family, and you sort of think, oh my God, is that going to happen to me? Am I going to go through that? So, you know, and it's really weird because people's perception of the menopause is like, well, it's just a new age thing. My mum never had menopause. Yes, she did, but she drank gin all day. And you didn't know.
Well, and it wasn't something that people talked about, was it? It was like, it was, you know, like lots of subjects that you can talk about now that you couldn't, but now you can talk about it and accept it, and people realise that it does actually happen rather than just sort of brushing it to one side and pretending it's not happening.
Do you feel like by doing it in the way that you've done it, with a little bit of comedy thrown in, albeit sort of not necessarily intended, not intended comedy, because it's just the way that you are, but in doing it that, like in a silly sort of down to earth sort of way, people are more likely to engage and to talk about it rather than it just being a medical thing?
Well, that's what we were hoping for, yeah. I mean, we're taking the mickey out of ourselves, basically, aren't we?
Yeah,
that's it. If I'm not taking it out of me, I'm taking it out of you, so it works both ways.
And people did seem to relate to us, and that was really nice. And even some of the ladies yesterday, their husbands were coming up and saying, oh, my wife loved watching you too. And they were lovely, weren't they, Anna? They were so nice.
We're nothing if not honest. We might be offensive at times, but we are honest.
You know, we say it how it is, really.
Yeah, that's it. There's
no
point
you know what
in
is
trying
sad?
to pretend you're something you're not,
I
because
think
we know what we're not.
Some of the other fugitives did get a bad rap, and I think that's so sad, you know. We're all just going out there.
People are very judgmental these days, and I think that was one of my main worries as well, especially on social media, because I've watched my own children go through you know, bullying and stuff, so...
I think I'm a little bit more thick-skinned than you, Anna, and I think that I could take it more. Well, yeah, both. But, so we were really lucky, but I really can't stand it when people are being, like, trolled.
Just nasty.
There's no need.
And don't judge people. If you don't know their story, you can't judge anyone.
And if you don't like it, don't look
at it, don't read it.
They're dipshits. Yeah. Oh, dipshits, I said.
No, that's right. Oh. It is dipshits. You keep saying dipsticks, don't you?
Yes.
No,
it's
dipshits.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
She's hard of hearing as well.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
So, in episode 1, we see you both almost get caught when you decide to go to the pier and get on a boat. But then you don't. You change your mind, and you go off. Did you have any sort of idea that hunters were that close to you when you were going to get
worked out it was taking too long, because we got cash out and then got to the ferry and realised they don't take cash, which didn't help. And then we had to run back over and get an Oyster card.
I guess
by
we
the
can
time we
give
got
you a
back, it was
small
getting a bit.
spoiler. Well, it's not a spoiler. It's part of the reason we actually couldn't get on the boat is because they wouldn't let the film crew on. Yeah. And that's actually why we were there so long. So that wasn't down to us. So it wasn't kind of fair. So I think they then sort of said, look, you've got to get moving.
Yeah, well,
so that wasn't down to us.
We looked at how long it was going to be for the next ferry when we decided to go without the film crew and just sort of wing it.
So we ran across the bridge.
So we ran across the bridge.
Found a taxi.
And she wouldn't let me have a balloon animal because there was a balloon man there and I wasn't allowed to stop and have one.
No time for that.
No time for that.
That would have been hilarious. Imagine I mean, we had like...
No, he's the balloon animal man.
I mean, we had like Steve, Beth, and Louis the Bag, I think we could have had Kathy, Anida, and like Leroy the Blow Up Lion.
Yeah. Or a sausage dog.
Any of us. We could have taken the Balloon Man with us.
That's a different.
That would have been wonderful.
That's a different show entirely, isn't it? It's a very different show entirely. How much of it, when you were watching that back, because obviously it's edited to make sure that it makes it look a little bit closer than what it was, but how much of it, when you were watching it back, were you thinking, actually, no, they might have been closer than what you think?
They were pretty close, to be honest. I think we did really stay there much too long.
But as I say, that wasn't really down to us. So
I think as well that we didn't really, I didn't understand the show. I thought that because it was like a technical issue, they'd sort of give us a bit of leeway on that, but I don't think they do.
But you know what? Because I watched the show, I sort of thought to myself, no one gets caught in the first episode, we're safe.
Well, I didn't have a clue what was going on most of the time, so... But we did run quite fast, and it was very hot.
Yeah.
I mean, no one gets caught in the first episode. Oh, that's a dangerous mindset, isn't it?
I know, but
I did have 4 pairs of
to be
knickers
honest,
on
you don't really have a chance to think about that because it's all like crazy. Go. But yeah, we were trying desperately to get on this blooming boat, and they just wouldn't let us on it again. So
yeah, but we were quite lucky that we managed to get away the way we did, and we didn't. I don't know if you were going to get to that question. We didn't actually leave London on the first day. We thought
we ought to have a shout out to Patrick.
Clever. Yeah, Patrick, our lovely driver man, who we actually jumped in the back of his Sainsbury's van, and he almost wet himself because suddenly these 2 mad women had just jumped in the back of the van.
Wait. So you literally just jumped in the back of his van.
And said, please, could you take us somewhere?
We actually sat on his cucumbers.
Well, actually, to be fair, I did get the handbrake. I was allowed in the front.
And we did say, can you go around the block again, please, Patrick? over those ramps.
But he did say, as he was driving, I've got something to tell you. This isn't my only job. And we thought, oh my God, we just jumped in a van with a hunter.
That's what we actually thought.
We did.
He was fantastic.
But he was a taxi driver as well, so he knew his way around London. He was amazing. He was the one that gave us a lift to the boats.
He didn't have much choice after, did he?
Down the road, it took about 2 hours.
He really didn't.
Yeah.
So,
bless him.
Obviously, you mentioned there about Patrick. There'd be so many people that we didn't see because you only get X amount of airtime because it's just the way the storyboard plays out. But how did you actually then get out of London? You just said there you didn't get out of London on day one.
London, we stayed in London because we thought they're going to be looking for everyone else leaving London. We managed to run down and we found a taxi. Luckily, where there were no cameras, so no one saw us get in it. And then we both sort of sat there, looked at each other, and said, "What are we going to do now?" And I'm very lucky. I had a client who'd actually mentioned to me the day before that she had a new boyfriend who lived in London, and he was a diamond merchant. And if we did get dropped in London, and I'd said, "Oh, don't be silly, they won't do that. They did that on the last celebrity show." So I didn't really listen to what she was saying, but he said he will help you out. And she just mentioned 2 roads, one where he worked and one where he lived. And I picked the one that ended in High Street, thinking that would be where he worked. And unfortunately it wasn't, it was a residential area. So we just sort of got out the taxi and thought, I don't know where he lives. So luckily we managed to go into an estate agent and they let us use the phone, and I phoned her and she was absolutely amazing, Jules, and her new boyfriend who'd never met me before in his entire life, phoned the concierge in his beautiful apartment overlooking the Shard and the HQ. And they let us in, and they showed us all the exit routes to get out, said they'd warn us if the hunters came in, they let all the camera crew in, and even the camera crew just looked at me and said, "How the F have you managed to do this?"
So our first night was spent drinking champagne on the balcony of a penthouse flat. So we really roughed it.
Yeah, it was terrible. And that poor man came in from work about 7 o'clock at night and said, "Hello, my name's Tim." And we said, "Hello,
meet
all
the film crew.
People are with us."
Hello, I've drunk literally everything you've got in your house.
Yes. No, actually we hadn't, because all I wanted was a cup of tea, and that man had no sugar in his house, and I was very upset.
Wow.
Not even honey. I mean, that's not normal, is it?
No.
But he did have champagne, which he very kindly...
let him off then.
He brought it home with him, and he went down the shop and got us some deodorant, so we obviously stank.
After one day?
Well, we were just moaning that we didn't have any deodorant. But we cleaned his apartment for him. We made him dinner. We cooked him dinner.
You did nothing. Let's be clear.
No, I just sat on the balcony with the champagne, darling. Of course I did.
No, we did clean the house, didn't we?
Yes,
The
we
flat.
did, yes.
Made him dinner.
Yeah, and he was really, really couldn't have been nicer about it. And then he said, I think he deserves some champagne. And we thought, well, yeah, we've been on the run nearly
Yes,
a whole
we do.
day now. He definitely deserves some
And
champagne.
his flat was quite close to a train station, so the next day we nipped out the back door, as you do, with a little picnic that he'd provided.
Yes. Everyone made
And
us picnics.
we went to the train station and we said, right, where should we go? And we said, how far does the train go? And it went as far as East Croydon, so that's where we went.
The next day.
That was the planning.
After all the hunters had left London looking for everyone else, we got on the train and just walked out. We just stayed there and waved at them on the balcony, drinking champagne.
Sometimes, we'd hear stories like that, wouldn't we? And we'd just be like, oh my God, like, that's just so insane that they didn't get caught. But actually, sometimes it just goes to prove, doesn't it, that hiding in plain sight does the world of good.
Right under their noses.
Just staying where they're not, because they're going to expect you to just get out as quickly as possible.
Well, they said to us, don't forget that this is where there are the most cameras in the country. So the best thing to do is leave the area as quickly as you can if you don't want to get caught.
We're staying.
And we thought, no, we're not having it. No. We're not having it.
We're too
going
old
to
for
prove
all
the
that.
point. We haven't got. We can't get that far in that amount of time. Not the speed Patrick was driving.
Sounds like Patrick gave you all the thrills.
He was amazing.
Oh, I'm sure
We
there's been.
love Patrick.
I'm sure there've been many more like
And I
Patrick
hope he's
as well.
still got his job because he wasn't supposed to let us in his van.
Well, I'm sure Patrick will be fine.
I've still got the cucumber.
I wonder what that smell was. Don't want to say.
Too much detail, darling.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I know we've sort of like hearing you talk about like your first night being a night at luxury. That was something we were talking about in the car on the way down, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, because we just saw you sort of at people's houses. So one of my thoughts whilst we were in the car and that we were discussing in the car was, did you ever camp at any point whilst you were on the run?
We went up to Canterbury and camped. Well, we had to borrow a tent from one of the people whose houses we'd stayed in.
Along with their car?
Because it was a very big tent and we couldn't carry it.
No.
And it didn't have any pegs when we tried to put it out, so we had to borrow those as well.
So it's the only day it rained. The one day we camped was the only day it rained. So we were in a tent with a bottle of wine, a tin of ravioli, singing Ging Gang Gooly.
Yes,
we had a bloody lovely time, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And I put the tent up all on my own with you watching me.
Well, she taught me how to put a tent up because I've never done it.
It's another life skill. It's another life skill you got from me.
You'd never camped and you'd never camped?
No, not really.
Wow.
But Anna is
I'm a professional.
She's a proper pro from her earlier days.
Here I'm organised, I am.
Oh, Julia.
Yes, we walked to the local shop and got a bottle of wine. And
Standard.
then, a tin of ravioli. It must have had a ring pull as far as I can remember, so we could open it. And then we ate it
and
cold.
about 200 plastic forks. I think I've still got about 50 of those left at home.
Yeah, and then we went in disguise, obviously, up to the shops. Came back and just had a little sing-song around a campfire. Or there wasn't one, was there?
No, I think we did try. But the bloke next door wasn't happy about it.
But they were very accommodating.
But we did have camping stuff left at home, which we were supposed to go home because it was my wedding anniversary while I was away as well. So we had made plans to try and meet up, and we did sort of, obviously that was quite a way into our journey.
My boyfriend did manage to meet us. He came on his motorbike. The hunters had been to his house, but they didn't look in the garage and see his motorbike. So they saw his car, but he came along on a motorbike. So we can have motorbikes too, hunters. It's not all about you. So he turned up like the milk tray man, gave us some money, gave us some food.
We had walked 4 hours.
Yeah, we'd walked 4 hours to get there
over the downs to get there, and I was very upset actually because all my family were going to turn up, but the hunters had turned up at the house, searched the place, so we couldn't get our camping gear, so we had to go and stay in this awful house along the foreshore and sit in the jacuzzi and drink cocktails.
That was another thing we did. That was amazing.
That was terrible. Do you know, it was a nightmare. We really roughed it. It was awful.
Sounds like it.
There was this beautiful house on Shoreham Beach with a jacuzzi out the back and its own bar.
I think you need to go back because you sort of missed out like a few days really, like how we got to know the person in the house over the beach. Because we went to Anne's first, didn't we, from Croydon?
Okay, so to begin with, right, so from Croydon, a friend of
Did
mine
you want to know all this?
gave us a lift.
This could go on for a long time.
A friend of mine, we phoned her when we were in Croydon and said, can you come and get us? And we'd borrowed somebody's phone to do that, and so I very quickly said, we're in a park in Croydon, we're in a park, and that was more or less it.
Yeah, and I said, what car are they driving? Because we're standing in a bush looking for her. And she said, oh, I forgot to ask. So I said, oh yeah, nice move, darling. We'll just stand in this bush and wait for any car to stop and pick us up,
The
shall we?
nicest part was, but when we went and hid in the park, there were some street drinkers in there, so we mingled with them.
Yes, and they
Which
were
was
very
nice.
encouraging, weren't they?
Yeah, they were good.
Go on, girls, they said. Go on.
Anyway, Michelle turned up. Well done, Michelle. And she drove us to Burgess Hill. And the reason we went to Burgess Hill is that as I work in a care home, there was a lovely, lovely old lady called Anne that I used to look after there. Anne was agoraphobic.
So
and she, yeah, exactly, that was the point. She said, come to me in Burgess Hill. So we didn't need to phone, we knew she'd be there because she's agoraphobic, she doesn't go out. So we turned up, bless her heart, on a doorstep and she welcomed us with open arms. And we had a lovely time there, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was her son and the wife that
Yeah.
she lives with, and they were absolutely amazing, weren't they?
We cut their grass for them.
Yeah, we made them dinner. We played stupid games, we got drunk.
Yeah.
Just a usual day out, really, for us, to be honest. And then it was her that helped us find, was it her sister, I think, over the beach, because we had to make a move. And when we left there, we tried to be really clever. We did search stuff on the laptop so that if the hunters found where we'd been, we'd searching campsites to stay in and stuff like that. And we looked up how to kill the hunters as well, just as a little...
So they could find that. Yeah.
Just
How
in
to
case
kill a
they
hunter.
wanted to check what we'd been up to while we were there. And then they very kindly gave us a lift up to Devil's Dyke, and then we had to walk for 4 hours to get to Shoreham, where we were supposed to have been meeting my family. But then afterwards they had a ring camera, so they had friends coming that evening, so they disguised themselves and put blankets over themselves when they left, just in case the hunters turned up, and checked their camera footage, so they were very helpful.
But you never see any of that. That's a shame.
So we're not as stupid as we look, which is lucky, to be
Nobody's
fair.
that stupid. So we ended up on Shoreham Beach, in a jacuzzi, drinking cocktails on the beach.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
Yes.
Complete strangers.
They gave us clothes because it was very hot and we'd gone running in tracksuits and it was hot.
I think you can't take clothes with you, can you? Did we take clothes?
You're allowed one set of clothes.
One set of clothes.
That's all.
So that
And
was
no
it.
deodorant, obviously,
No
which is what Tim
toothpaste.
very kindly gave for us. I did ask him to. It was not that it was like, God, you stink, I'm just going to go and get you some deodorant. It wasn't quite that bad. But yeah, so we just sort of, everyone was so helpful. And we stayed there. We only stayed there one night, didn't we, on Shoreham Beach? And then she got, it was one of her clients that she put us on somewhere else. So we didn't actually know any of the people
so that
we
was
stayed with.
Really good that we didn't know
quite
them.
a lot of the time, really.
So we then ended up going, did we then borrow a car?
No,
I remember
we got a
car.
lift.
There was
we
a,
went.
there was
That's where
definitely a car
that was
somewhere.
the next person when we went to Brighton, where we did our little news flash sketch.
The
in
two
their
Ronnies.
house. And as we drove up, she said, "Oh, I've got this client. He'll help you out." And she very kindly phoned. Didn't she? I can't remember her name. That's terrible.
Marcia.
No, it wasn't Marcia. Over the beach, Julie.
Julie, yeah.
She very kindly phoned and asked this young man, Pete, if he'd help us.
Pete.
And when we drove up, it was a beautiful, enormous, great house with a forest in the back garden. And the camera crew just looked at us again and said, "Oh my God, what have you done now?"
Yes,
we were just
we could have had a bedroom each. It was amazing.
And she
this
was
house.
showing us around, saying, "Which room would you like? Would you want one with the ensuite or?" And it was awful.
make it up,
was,
could you?
no, you couldn't really.
They made
we
us
couldn't believe our luck.
barbecues.
Yeah, we had barbecues. We sat on the
Funnily
decking,
enough,
went
the
for a walk
chap,
through the
the
forest.
chap that had that house said, "I've got a little island." He
yeah,
owned
in
an
Essex.
island in Essex, and he said, "We'll get a boat and get you out there," but we weren't allowed to do it, unfortunately. I don't know why.
I think probably because most of the hunters would have died trying to find us. Because
I
at
don't
high
think they
tide
could
you
have
couldn't
found
get
us.
to it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was a step too far.
I wonder if that's because it was it'd be classed as off mainland UK.
Could be, yeah.
Well, it was only in Essex.
But we did something else very clever there that you never got to see, actually. When we were going to be leaving there, We did the two Ronnies, okay?
On a burner phone.
On a burner phone that we had. So when we left, we got the couple's son to put our phone on a train to London so that they could follow the train to London, but we don't think that they did, which was a shame because we thought that was a bit of genius.
Yeah, that's really... It does literally sound like you had a little road trip.
Yeah.
Like you just went on a road trip for a few days to big houses and jacuzzis.
Yeah, and met loads of really
pretty
lovely
much.
people.
No, yeah, that was pretty much what it was.
And they just kept feeding us as well. We thought we were going to lose weight.
We're the only fugitives that would come back fatter than when we went.
They made us a 3-course meal and gave us 3 bottles of wine. It was awful.
So we did the two Ronnie sketch, sent that to the hunters. We had a great time doing that.
And then we were trying to decide where to go next. And he offered us a car, which is when we borrowed the car and did our Thelma and Louise thing.
And he said, I'll tell you what, we've got a dressing up box as well if you'd like it.
Everything just sort of fell into place, really. We were really lucky. And they were so lovely because I think it was his son's car. And I said, I can't believe this. You don't even know my surname and you're lending us a car and you've done all this stuff for us. And then he went to Waitrose and bought us a picnic to take with us so we didn't get hungry. So put that in the boot of the car.
It's genius. That whole the train thing, putting the phone on a train, that is a good move to do because we were chatting to a couple of hunters obviously at the event last night, and that must have happened at some point where they've spent days and days and days tracking a phone. I think it's something that we do, isn't it? Like that, because we've always said, I mean, I don't know, should we say? Yeah, let's say. So I think obviously we love fugitives, but if you had to put us on a team,
you'd be the hunters.
It would be Team Hunters. Yeah. Sorry, girls. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it's just more the thing of when we've definitely had bad experiences with people before. So we've spoken on this podcast about a time when we went to London for a book event, and which wasn't a nice experience.
No.
Yeah.
We went to London for a book event. We stayed sort of on the out. We stayed in Watford, was it?
Yeah, Watford.
And we'd got to our hotel, checked in, and we're like, right, let's go out and get food. There's a Wetherspoons near here. Let's go and get some food. So we left the hotel, and there was a group of kids. You know, they were probably no older than
14, 15, not even 15.
Yeah.
They were, you know...
Of the traveller community, let's add that in there.
Yeah, of the traveller community.
We weren't just bullied by kids.
No,
they were
and we were
kids
walking...
with sharp bottles.
We were walking past and they started shouting, throwing eggs.
Well, I think they were shouting. They couldn't really string a sentence together, could they, to be fair?
One of them had a broken bottle in their hand.
Dipshits.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to clip that up now. Forget the Steve Cotton clip. I'm clipping that up.
We didn't really have the best experience.
Really horrible.
Yeah. So ever since then, we've sort of like it's just about approaching people and stuff, and sometimes people can just be a little bit. And we sometimes, especially on the early versions of the show, some people come across, because of the edit now, you've sort of learned, but some people come across like really in your face, really abrasive, really rude. And we've always sort of said that if that ever happened and they were filming the show and ever a fugitive asked for help, one of the things we would do first is to find out their story, and then we would decide whether or not we would give them help. Like we'd help them initially get out of the situation, but we'd use that time to hear about their story. And if it was very much like no pleasers, no thank yous, no politeness, and very much like a you need to do this, you need to do that, I think that would sort of put us off a little bit. So we definitely have a burner phone which we would like slip into someone's bag. Like we'd go and get them food or something, slip it into the bag, and then tip the hunters off with the number.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Payback.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Devious.
Although now I've said that, no one will ever, like, if they recognise us that bit.
No one's going to ask you for help now. You're stuffed.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll just go to HQ and help them hunt them down. It's all good fun. What I get from that is obviously you guys have had a lot of help from people which we didn't see. Did you manage to sort of keep a little bit of a record? Because lots of people, when they go on the run, have a bit of like a contacts book with a little notebook with some numbers in that they can find. Sade and Cameron on their podcast a couple of weeks ago were sort of saying they had one, but they lost it on day one, so their plan had to completely change.
I'll tell you something else that's really interesting that you guys probably don't know, is that before you go on the run, which is really good, Shine TV were really good, you all get to speak to a psychologist, okay? And then if you've got any problems or you need to speak to them afterwards, which I did actually, I did have a little bit of a problem afterwards, I'm not going to go into that now, but he said to me, look, it's coming back, it's such a change. What I'm urging you to do is write down now everything you did. And I did that, and I have got a little book with it in at home, and they were really nice and helpful, weren't they, with stuff like that. So they did look after us. Have to say that, they were really good. But your point about things we didn't see and what the hunters have to do to catch you, we found out yesterday that one of the hunters told us they actually spent a full half a day trying to get CCTV from the Ritz because they thought we'd gone in there and were having afternoon tea. And they spent a whole day doing that.
I mean, we're a bit quick though. We've literally been on the run 5 minutes and we were going to have
So that was really nice for us to get an insight into what they do as well. Because we never get to see what they do. In fact, we'd love to turn the tables and hunt the hunters.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it be great if they went on the run?
I'd be in for that.
Yeah.
I
hell
would
of a show.
100% be in for. I'd help.
Yeah.
I'll come hunt them.
Yeah.
We can get Patrick involved.
To be fair, everyone that helped us that we didn't know, we have actually stayed in contact with. So
we've got a little
we've been
WhatsApp
very
group,
lucky.
so,
That's one thing we always ask. Like we always like give people the opportunity to give them a shout out. You've obviously given a few a shout out, but also as well, like, have you sort of maybe like planned, because you're both self-employed, your time's a lot freer than other people's. Have you planned like a potential little road trip? Like if you're going on holiday somewhere or you're going somewhere, you go, oh, I've gone there.
We
We've
went
already
back to the pub in
We've been
Hersley.
back to just about everyone, but Patrick was the only one we don't know where he actually is.
Yeah, we've kind of visited
but
them all.
everyone else, we went round and visited them all and took cakes round and said thank you for all their help and yeah, we've got
And
a little
they've said,
WhatsApp group with
"Don't
them all
ever
on.
darken my door again."
And that's it.
Crazy. Absolutely love it. It's really, really funny to see. Let's talk about something we did see then. Let's talk about the two Ronnies, aka Channel 4's brand new newsreaders, Kathy and Anada. Whose idea was it?
Mine, and it came about, we were sitting around the table and I saw a pair of glasses on the table and it reminded me of the two Ronnies, you know, the glasses they used to wear? If you're old enough, I don't think you two are.
Oh, I am, yeah.
And I said, look, why don't we just put on a couple of white shirts of the guy that lived there and do like a news flash? And that's what it was really. And we didn't rehearse it, we just did it. It was like a one shot. We got Alexa involved with the music.
Yeah, that
which
didn't work out quite as well as planned.
But what the idea was, we're going to send that and then go, and that's when we put the burner phone on the train.
And we sent that to my husband and he posted it very kindly on Instagram for the hunters to find.
Ah, so that's how it got on Instagram. It went to your husband. So what was it? Did you sort of send it him email? How did you get it to him?
I think we WhatsApped it, didn't we?
I can't remember, to be honest.
I think we did. I think we WhatsApped
We
him
got
and then
them
I
to do
called him just to let him know what to do and also to try and arrange a meet-up for our wedding anniversary. No, because we hadn't met. No, I hadn't spoken to him since I'd missed him on the wedding anniversary, that's it. So we just had a really quick conversation and then I think my son's sort of helped him because he's not that techie. He's lovely, but he's not that techie.
And again, of course, there are rules, and you don't do these things for no reason, you know.
You have to. It's nice to wind the hunters up and make them angry, and watching that on the telly was really satisfying for me. I
didn't like their comments when they said the set design was
We did
terrible.
have a word yesterday about our acting skills. We did pull him to one side yesterday and said,
yes,
I think
it was
we got.
Simon Duck, wasn't it?
Yes.
We did have a word about that.
Yeah. We found him sitting on the floor.
We said his acting skills weren't that brilliant either.
Yeah.
I think he gave you a 2 out of 10 for the set, a 1 out of 10 for costume, and the acting he said was negative.
I know.
We didn't agree, did we?
No,
We didn't. I thought it was a bit mean.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah, especially from Cider
We did
Dog.
pull him up on that yesterday, to be fair.
He's nothing to me.
No,
He's dead
that's
to me
it.
now.
That's it. We're over.
Poor
We're over him.
We did. There was someone there that stuck up for us, though, didn't they? I think.
I can't
remember if on HQ.
It was yesterday, love. I can't remember that
I
far
can't
back.
remember. No.
It was brilliant to see, and I think it's such a clever move to send it to your husband to then post, because then the ping from when it gets posted is going to be from a completely different place, so they're looking in the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really good to see. We love that little video. We love the little newsreaders. And if you haven't,
We've got the full version if you'd like it.
Yeah, we did put that on Facebook for everyone to see as well.
Yeah.
We didn't want them leaving out all some crucial lines.
I was just going to say, if you've not watched the full version, these did post it on their Facebook page. Go and watch it, 'cause it's funny. I think we shared it on our Instagram as well. My favourite bit is when you're going, Alexa, shut up, you silly bitch.
Alexa, play that annoying music again. And apparently some of our friends said that it started their Alexas off when they were listening to it. Yeah.
Oh, genius. Absolutely genius. Oh, well, let's go from there to Bexhill-on-Sea, and a bit of TV we're glad we didn't see, because it was a line from one of you where Speedos apparently still do exist.
Yes.
Very fortunate we didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I know.
It was hot, and there was a man, apparently Anna just saw it.
Yeah.
She was gagging.
Yeah, like I do quite a lot, to be fair.
Not in a good way.
No.
So yeah, we were just walking along the prom and you suddenly saw the Speedo man.
Yeah, I think we went to Winchester before that, didn't we? We went to Winchester, then we went back
That
to
was the
Bexhill.
Oh gosh, we've got to tell them about the day at Hursley, the pub.
Yeah, because you have to work as well while you're away, and we had to work a full 8 hours. So as a couple of middle-aged old menopausal women, we had to move a ton of bark onto a play area in a pub in Winchester, and the man very kindly let us stay there. And I can't remember his name, Ben,
at the Dolphin
he
in
was
Hursley,
lovely.
and we've been back there to see Ben, and he was just so helpful and lovely, wasn't he?
And then we still had time left, so we washed his car, and we took apart some beds and put them back together in the bed and breakfast. So we may be old, but we're not useless.
And yeah, we
and the only
earned our
people that
stay.
offered to help us when it was really hot and we were moving all this bark was a couple of women. All the men just sat in the beer garden watching and laughing at us.
But it's from there we then drove down to Bexhill.
That's when we went to Bexhill, yeah. And that's when and that bag, just in case anyone would like to watch it again, that we were carrying to the rowing club was full of food.
And alcohol.
I think we did see that it was full of food as well.
Picnic that someone had made us. They obviously were very worried that we were going to starve. Everywhere we left made us a picnic.
We looked skinny,
yes,
too skinny.
I
We
think
looked
they were
hungry,
worried
don't we?
about us.
Oh, brilliant. Love it. Absolutely love it. Let's go to the regatta then. Let's talk about those. I know, we have to, though, we have to. Let's talk about those final sort of movements, because there was a clear plan for you to go there, but our friends Nicolity and Sunglasses Steve.
Your friends, not ours.
We never liked him anyway.
Sunglasses Steve went to the wrong one initially.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame.
And they went to the wrong place as well. They were at the yacht club. And I know where Eastbourne Regatta is. I've rowed there plenty of times. And they row on the sea in rowing boats, not yachts. So, yes, they did go. In fact, if we'd gone to Eastbourne, they probably would have missed us completely because they were in the wrong place. So maybe we should have gone to that one.
Well, to be honest, as we were driving to the regatta, we actually couldn't find it.
Well, there was roadworks, and I think we went round in circles about 15 times because it just kept going past the beach and we couldn't find it.
We did actually pass
and we nearly didn't go.
A huge car boot sale, and I said to Anna, why don't we go there? Because there's loads of people and we can buy new clothes and disguises. And we do regret that. We do regret that. So we ended up going to the regatta, trying to find Graham.
Yeah. And some of my other... I mean, I must admit, it was lovely because I haven't rowed for a long time, so it was nice to catch up with old friends. And they did have a bar there, which was always quite helpful.
So that was the pull, really. But unfortunately, when we sat down, I think you saw it in the clip, I turned round and I saw a woman at a window, and I said, Anna, there's a woman up there. And she said, she's probably just taking pictures of the boats, love. You know, you're being a bit paranoid, sort of thing.
But then when we turned round and looked at her, she'd gone. She hid, so we knew something was afoot.
Yes.
And but by then it was too late.
Yeah,
and we were afoot.
Late. And it's a shame that it was sort of ended the way it did, really. But
it was all
I have to
quick.
say, the hunter was really lovely, the one that caught me. So I you know, he can catch me again. I don't mind that.
I think he caught you a few times. Yeah. I think you did colour reruns, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Sunglasses Steve that got you, Kathy, and then Nicola that got you, Anna, wasn't it?
Yeah. And she did actually say, I was told not to approach you from behind. And I said, is that because I'm a highly trained ninja or because you think I'm going to have a heart attack? But I think it was the latter. I think it was the last one.
How gutted were you when you got hands on? Because like you just said there, you sort of had a feeling in that moment that you knew your game was over, because in terms of sort of getting out of there, you'd have had to really, really get on your toes.
Well, do you know what? We didn't sort of have a game plan from that point onwards, did we?
No, I think we were, yes. I think we were... we were upset because we were having a ball.
Yeah.
We were having a ball, but at the end of the day, we had stayed a lot longer than we thought we were going
we
to.
lasted 12
and
days,
we
actually.
had such an amazing ride and been
It's just
helped
like, oh, bugger, we were really having fun.
Yeah, we were having an amazing time. And yeah, we were upset to be caught, but we just, again, you know, it is what it is. It's a game, it's entertainment. That was the whole point of the game.
I think why people found us popular, although we didn't realise it at the time, somebody said to us, you never moaned about, well, what have we got to moan about? We're having a living great time.
Even when we're eating ravioli out of a tin.
Yeah, it's all an adventure, you know, and you've got to grab every moment. It was such not a life-changing event, but something that I will always cherish. Yeah. And we'll always, I sound so pathetic, we'll always have our memories. We should make a scrapbook.
Actually, your memory's not all that good, you might not have them.
No, might not.
You really should make a scrapbook. What you should actually do is you should sit down with a proper writer and get it all down, and do almost like what people like Sarah Kibble did. She basically, obviously she won the last series. Her Instagram, she started up a hunted specific Instagram where she basically, if you go all the way back to the start, literally details it day by day, where she went, who she met, and where she went on to next. And it was really, really interesting. Yeah.
We could do a time capsule.
And Our Lady's Lodge in it.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah. It's a really good idea, and I think a lot of the fans of the show would love to see it, because there is so many things that you just get up to.
Yeah. Obviously, we know that you got up to so much more than what we got to see.
More nun content, please. More nun content.
Is there anything? Is there anything that you're really disappointed that we didn't get to see?
All of it.
I think, to be honest, we wanted people more to see the way we struggled with the menopause more than anything.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time being interviewed and talking about the struggles of what it feels like getting up in the morning and your joints ache and you can't move as quickly as you used to, and like going to the rowing as well. You know, I mean, like Graham that I stayed with at the rowing, he was one of the people that I'd rowed with, for years and years and years ago. And he'd actually just recovered from cancer as well. And a lot of the old rowers were in the bar, and that's who we met up with after we were caught. And we've all changed so much. You're in your early 20s when you start doing it. You're all fit. You take it all for granted. And it was speaking about how it actually takes you from surprise. You sort of know it's coming, but in our heads, as the hunters worked out, we don't think we're any older than we were 30, 40 years ago. But your body certainly knows it. I'll tell you about it.
About 5 years ago.
By the time we walked 4 hours over the downs, we knew about it, really.
5 years ago, I had breast cancer as well. And that's all gone. It's absolutely fine. And, when something like that happens to you, I think it changes you. And you sort of think, do you know what? I'm going to do what I can. Life is so short, isn't it?
You have to embrace every day, and I think it can change you. I think trauma can change you in two ways. You can either hold on to it and become bitter and resentful about it, or you can learn from it and be kinder to others and not judge others and have more empathy for people and just enjoy life, because none of us know, nothing is guaranteed. No day is guaranteed for anyone.
It's not nice, and
nice. It's not big and it's not clever.
one of the nicest.
Well, it happens anyway.
One of the nicest compliments I got was from my daughter, and I said, "Oh, look, I'm getting old and that," and she said, "Mum, you'll never be old." And do you know what? That really brought a tear to my eye, because if my kids see me like that, how lovely is that? That's the biggest compliment I could ever have, really. So
my biggest compliment from my 14-year-old is, I said, "What? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a normal mother?" And he said, no, I don't think I'd know what it would be like to have a normal mother. And I said, what do you find most embarrassing about me, out of all the really embarrassing things? And he said, your bright coloured clothes. And I said, I'm actually going to take that as a compliment, because I can be really embarrassing. And if just what I'm wearing is the only thing that is embarrassing about, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Let's for a minute go from the positives to the slight negatives of it, and then we'll talk a little bit about what happens off the run as well, sort of after the run. You mentioned it a little bit earlier on. I think that's a really key thing to touch upon. But you've had a lot of success. We've heard that you've had, the high life, the champagne, the hot tubs, the jacuzzis, people's cars, people's tents, anything. There must have been times on the run where people have been rude, obnoxious, unhelpful, or did you genuinely find luck all the way?
Worst place.
London was
People
terrible.
were very rude. They didn't want to be anywhere near you. They didn't want to be filmed. They didn't want to help you. People were winding up their windows if we were trying to talk to them in their cars. They wouldn't even let us stand behind them. And that was actually quite upsetting in some ways, because you just felt like you were... They weren't even nice about it. They weren't even laughing. They were just rude. And I don't think there's any need for that. If you're a bit, do it nicely. Just say, I'm sorry, if you don't mind. I'd rather not be involved in that. But yeah, people were quite rude.
I think the hardest thing I
But then
found...
they're busy, aren't they?
Hardest thing I found was being mic'd up all the time,
Yeah, no privacy. That's
yeah,
hard.
lack of privacy was the hardest
Especially
thing.
when you want to go to the toilet. I always giggled.
Did you wee in a bush?
Yeah, we weed in front of
in a sheep field, and the sheep loved it. They all crowded round me. They were hiding me. They were helping me out. See, I've even got an affinity with sheep.
I can't. Do you know what? If you were to say to me, what are the negatives? I'd really struggle to tell you any negatives, to be honest. I'm not just saying
money.
that.
That's the negative.
I actually don't care.
She don't care. She's put a holiday come out and debt.
Hey, you are gold.
Doing the washing.
Oh, brilliant. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I think there's so many things there as well, but I don't know, you two just seem like so infectious. I can't see too many people sort of saying that, well, not in that way. But just in terms of like the way that you are, the way that you approach people as well.
That's really nice, thank you.
It's been a pleasure to spend a little bit of time. We've got a couple more questions to fire, and then we'll let you go. And before you get a ticket,
we're
in Leicester, so
We've already got told as a park.
Well, last time I used to work in this building. For those who are listeners to this podcast and wondering why we've chose here, it was £6 in the car park all day when I was there. It's now £8.80. So inflation.
Wow, there you go.
Anyway, back to the questions.
Those were the days, love.
We talked a little bit about what happens after. You mentioned it before about. You need a little bit of support, and Shine were great in that. Obviously, see a psychiatrist and stuff before you go, and sort of the support after. How did you find it afterwards? Because every fugitive that we spoke to has always said, even now, if there's a black Discovery on the road or whatever, or a Range Rover or Land Rover or whatever, we're always like looking over our shoulder. If there's a helicopter above, it triggers a little bit. How was it going back to normal life?
Not at all.
No, not that.
Not at all.
That doesn't.
Honestly, not at all.
No, I don't think that. I think the main thing we found was it was just a bit of a downer because we were having so much fun.
We both actually, over the past, since the show's been aired, we've both been phoning each other and saying, "Are you all right?" Because I feel really down.
Yeah.
And you know what? The party or the event yesterday was a great pick me up, and so we both found it like, oh, it's all over now, you know.
Yeah, it was just a bit disappointing, really.
Yeah.
I think it's just going back to everyday life like it never happened. It was just all of a sudden.
And it was a while
you just
ago,
go
of course.
home and it's over. And then having to wait for it to be aired was quite. I found that quite difficult because obviously I was worried about people's opinions of us, and I've had that hanging over my head. I know you don't care because you're made of steel, you are. But or leather or something, pig skin.
That's a good point though about the being made to wait, because obviously we've mentioned it a couple of times, but we've been chatting for like 2 years waiting for this to come round.
Yeah.
So that's like to be, and like you've never given any details away at all. You've just said we're on it, and when we're on it, we'd love to chat and share our journey, and it's.
Obviously, you sign a contract, and that, of course, you stick and abide by that.
And at the end of the day, it is an entertainment show. It's not, you know, just serious. We weren't actually on the run and we didn't get arrested, so that's always a bonus.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, that was always in my mind. You know, people say, oh, were you scared? What are you scared of? What's going to happen to you,
I think that was when the psychiatrist came to, because I was terrified, I've got to be honest, and they were very good at explaining, you know, you have to remember that if you've got any worries, we will talk to you about them. Yeah. You can stop at any point if you're concerned, if you're feeling uneasy. They were very, very
and they
supportive.
also said, look, you need to look at your socials before this is aired. Make sure it's set to private and just protect yourself as much as possible.
And just remember that those people that are criticising you didn't get chosen out of 20,000 people to be on the show, and they're sitting on a keyboard and you actually did it, and that is a big thing that we hang on to, you know, whatever. And again, we're very lucky with every comment, I think, has been positive. We've been very lucky.
Yeah, we really have,
Yeah.
I think that's a big point. I'm so glad that support network is there for all the fugitives as well, because, you know, to have that high of being on the run and sort of have that lifestyle, and then, you know, to all of a sudden go back to your normal lives is such a switch.
And not be able to speak about it.
Yeah, and not be able to speak about it. That's the biggest thing, isn't it? It's not being able to talk.
And keep moving the goalposts as well. Oh, it'll be filmed in 6 months. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not going to be showed then. No, it's going to be another couple of months. And then all of a sudden it's 2 years.
And then you sort of think, did we actually do it?
I can't remember
Did
now.
we just make that up?
Imagine ringing her up and going, I had this really strange dream last night. We had this camera crew.
I was dressed as a nun.
What's going on?
You remember the two Ronnies?
Drank lots of wine and ate lots of food.
Well, that's normal.
That is a dream for me, believe me.
Especially someone else is cooking.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick word on the camera crew, and obviously, because, you know, behind the scenes, people know that there's not just one camera person. Anyone that thinks that is an absolute... In fact, you can say it. I'd rather...
They're all dipsticks. Dipshits. Dipshits. Sorry.
Absolute dipshits. And of course, you know, you've got that team behind you. Have you still kept in contact with them? Because them two, the whole crew behind you, they must have had such a laugh as well, because all their mates, they're slumming it in tents, they're in Coldfield, and they're living the high life, aren't they?
This is how it works. If you're with us, you won't have to run. That's number one. You haven't got to run anywhere, so they all wanted to be with us. In fact, I don't know how much they enjoyed it, because our camera crew are now gone to Australia to get away from us. They're all in Australia.
I do think we had like an embedded cameraman, Chris, who obviously had to stay with us 24 hours a day. And I think he's actually come out of therapy now. I think he's all right now. But he must have struggled. We are quite hard work. We're a bit full on, aren't we, love? But he was fantastic. And
they all were.
And then the others would arrive every day, and they just had to follow us and just look at us in complete amazement and think how stupid we were,
I did do something really naughty with the film crew, which I'm going to reveal. Not naughty like that. Not naughty like that.
Hello, Shine. Yeah, I've got this great idea for a new TV show. It's called Hunted Exposed.
There was a really young guy called Bo.
Oh, that was nasty.
It was really nasty.
She's nasty.
And I kept saying to Anna, I wonder if they've caught anyone else. Do you think they have? So when this Bo came in, who was a bit wet behind the ears, I said, Bo, I can't believe they caught those others the other day.
I think it was
and
Bo
he went,
who said that too.
It might not have been, but he said, who told you? And I went, you just did. So we knew we weren't the first off.
And thought he'd lost his job because he'd just given it all away.
I'm horrible like that.
I said, I hope you feel really bad now. If he loses his job, he was terrified, bless him.
So we knew
we weren't the first. So after that, we were relaxed. It was fine.
Yeah.
But he also could have been playing the game to wind you up as well. He would have known. We're very reliably told that the camera crew are very much told to prepared for those little things.
Really?
So
but
young
his
or
face
not,
was bright red.
No.
So I don't know.
It's very good
taken
acting.
outside and came back with whip marks on his back.
Oh, no. Trust me, that's very good acting work.
Yeah,
it's
no,
very
I think
good
you're
acting
right.
work.
To be fair, I think
you tried it though, didn't you?
I tried
you
it
gave
anyway.
it a go, love.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very much prepared for that, because again, sometimes it is quite easy to figure it out. Like, you can figure it out yourselves. For example, if you guys never split, but if you'd have split, there would have been, obviously, you've got one camera person embedded with you, so he would have had to make a choice of where to go, and then the followers would have had to sort of pick you up, but then you need someone to be embedded with you all the time, especially if you don't rejoin. And those camera crews, when people split, tend to come from camera crews of fugitives.
Yeah, we were told that, yeah.
So you can figure it out. There is a little bit of figuring it out to do. Right. Final question, hunted related in terms of like what you did on the show. What do you take away from it? Obviously, you didn't manage to make it to extraction, but 12 days is a hell of an achievement, almost halfway. What do you take away from it? What's your takeaways from that time of the run?
Halfway, isn't it? Out of 21 days, 12. Your maths is rubbish, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, 12 and 12 is 20 and 22. Yeah, so no, 12 days is about halfway.
I take away a holiday from A to Z.
10 and a half days, so
That's
we're
what
1
I
and a
take.
half over halfway.
Half a day over, all right.
All right, love.
Credit us with a whole day.
Well,
I take an experience that I will never get the chance to do again. I take the fact that I know and believe really strongly in our friendship. It's a bond that we will have forever, that we can always talk about. I love the fact that my grandchildren sat and watched it. And as Anna just said, I think it really restored our faith in people that were so kind, so helpful. And I just must say before we finish, you two do an incredible job. So thank you
so much for being there for us for the last 2 years before it was even shown. Thank you.
You've been amazing. You do a great job, so thank you. But yeah, I can only say positive things. And if I could go again tomorrow, I would, believe me.
She has tried a couple of times.
but without the camera crew.
Yeah, that's it. She doesn't care.
Well, do you know what? You know how like Channel 4 and Channel 5 have all these like spin-off series? They have these like Z-list celebrities doing these travel series, don't they? Like, I don't know, let's pick two random ones out of thin air. Comedian Dom Jolly and some bloke from Towie go on a road trip. You two on a road trip, yeah. That'd be hilarious. I'd pay to watch that.
Oh, thanks, love.
Come with us.
You could put a word in.
Yeah, we'll have a word.
Have a word for us,
yeah, we'll have a word.
We'll be up for that.
Well, Ant and Dec are gone now. It's all about us.
Yeah, exactly. Kathy and Anna, Saturday night tea.
No, Friday night picnic.
Friday night eating in.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it would definitely have to be post-Watershed, though. Right, three final questions to post at you. First and foremost, obviously you mentioned Ant and Dec there. Have you picked your holiday yet?
No, I haven't, but I can't. I've got over 100 destinations to choose from.
I mean, you get 8 people. Yeah, I think it's 8, isn't it? Something like that.
4. There's 4 of us here. Let's go. Come on.
Cruise.
Where'd you fancy? A cruise? We'll have it.
We'll have a cruise.
Come on, come with us.
It'd be hilarious. And then obviously the last couple of questions. First one, this is the last hunted question, and then there's a very important question to end on. Very important question to end. Did you forget?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm already married. You can't ask me.
Joke. You need a co-host. The first question is, if Hunted were ever to do a new version of the show, so instead of it being a team of 2 fugitives or a solo runner, you would split up. So you've got but you go on the run in a group of 4. So you have to pick one fellow fugitive, either a celebrity or civilian from any of the series, one ground hunter and one HQ hunter. I'm going to put a couple of rules in. One rule in place: you cannot pick each other as the fellow fugitive because you've already done it. So
I'm taking Lisa.
Oh, I wanted to take Lisa.
No, it's mine. She's mine.
Over Lisa.
Bobby Segal yesterday, my new Bezzy mate.
Bobby Segal, what a guy.
He is a little charmer. I love him. He's coming with me. And I'll have Steve because he's like good to look at. And one...
that's it, that's it.
Can I not have Patrick as well and his cucumbers?
No.
He's out. All right, that's me, Lisa and Bobby.
Yeah, so it's you, Lisa Thieker, Sunglasses Steve and Bobby Segal.
I mean,
yeah, what a team.
All day.
I can't remember any of their names. Only one I want to remember is Lisa. And a lovely lady that gave me my prize on the raffle last night. I can't remember her name.
Daisy.
That's so rude.
No,
the lady that actually gave me my raffle, that pulled the ticket out, that was standing next to me, and I can't remember her name. That's
Zoe,
so rude.
Zoe.
That's so rude. I'm sorry, Zoe. But yes, she's lovely.
Yeah.
And...
Bring back Peter Blexley is my thing.
Who's I don't know. Fugitive wise.
What about anyone from this series that you've just been on?
Nicola, because I want to give her a hug.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Not a bad team. Not a bad team. Not a bad team at all. Right, time for the most testing question of all, and your choices will be judged.
Oh dear.
What's your favourite biscuit?
Party rings.
Did you pack it with her?
Yes.
She's got them with her. She's got party rings with
I'll
her.
take them everywhere.
What a great
No, thank you.
I mean, to be honest, you're going to go some way to beat that.
Party rings.
You can't take mine.
I tell you what, ice gems.
Yes.
Ice gems, very undervalued biscuits. They were my mum's favourite. Ice gems.
They
Do
were
you
my
know
grandma's
that?
favourite.
Classed as a biscuit or a
Don't
snack?
start all that rubbish with me.
They've got a biscuit at the bottom.
They're a
I
biscuit.
expect it.
Yeah, they're a mini
Ice
biscuit.
gems, but that's
You've
not
gone
true.
in
They're not
small.
my favourite. I don't really know what it is. As you can see, I don't eat biscuits.
She prefers entire cakes.
Oh dear. Ice gems and party rings. I don't think we're ever going to get much better than that.
Start of a kid's birthday party buffet.
Yes.
And I love it.
Throw in a few sausage
Actually
rolls.
go with our mental capacity.
I don't think there's anything else left to say other than, obviously, people love you two. People like, Lisa, Ray, all the HQ
Lisa
guys.
said if she was going to go on the run with anyone, she'd come with us now.
Yeah.
That I'm going to take to my
She says it to
grave.
everyone, you fool.
Not everyone.
Let me have that. Let me
Not
have
everyone.
that bit.
Not everyone. The response from them has been great. The response from the public has been great. You guys have started a bit of a Facebook page up. You've got a little bit of a podcast bubbling away as well. Just remind people where they can find you on the internet, because let's face it, everybody needs a daily dose of Kathy and Anna Dunn.
Oh, bless
Thanks,
you.
love.
I can't remember.
Right there.
No,
is the
it's ladies large in it, isn't it? Kathy and Anna.
Gin, it.
Yeah.
And it's Kathy and Anna, Ladies Large in It, on Facebook and Instagram.
You will find it. Go and find it, because it is a very good.
Just listen, and you'll hear our voices at some point.
We'll put a link. We'll put a link on.
We'll put a link on your.
And we'll put a link
hijack you.
in the description of this episode as well. If I remember to do it, we'll put a link to
Thank
that
you.
as well.
Thanks, love.
What were your final thoughts? Because we were.
She's exhausted.
I know. We both did we not?
To get a word in.
Did we both say before we were going to be in pain laughing?
Yes, we did, yeah.
And are we? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And, we found out what you guys did, because we didn't get to see a lot of you to begin with.
We wanted more.
So it has been nice to find out where you went, and that you pretty much just had a really nice road trip.
Yeah, we did. We really bonded with lots of people, even people that didn't want us to bond with them.
What's your final message to because obviously we could easily sit here for another 4 hours just talking to you. What's your final message to everyone out there that helped you on the way, that have sent messages of support on social media and just have just been there as part of your hunter journey, whether it was 2 years ago on the run or the last 6 weeks?
I think I even put a post on last night about just feeling the love. We are so grateful and so proud of what we've achieved, and so
blown away by the
support and kindness.
And that's
people.
everyone from our families to people that supported us to you
people
guys
that turned up last night,
the
to
hunters.
you guys, to everyone. We honestly did think we were invisible, and it has actually been incredibly emotional and
rewarding
to realise how many lovely people there are out there, and every day we're surprised at how lovely people are.
And people that watch the show, I'm so sorry that maybe there won't be many more, but carry on listening to these two guys, because they're really entertaining. They do a great job as well.
But we would like to say a couple of people have actually said that they should do an entire show just of us, which I think is a brilliant
well
idea.
behind.
Yep, thank you.
Honestly, I genuinely think as a creative, a YouTube channel of you two, just you two going on a tour of saying what you did on Hunted, and just the stuff you got up to. I genuinely think a YouTube channel of you two being open about menopause, facing life every day, the adventures that you get up to, I think people would absolutely swallow that up. So get yourself to Curry's or Dixon's or whatever it is, buy yourself a camera and get in the YouTube game.
Thank you, love.
Thanks so much.
We'll put that on our list of things to do after we've been to Primark.
I did say that I didn't have any more hunter-related questions for you, but I have just got one which we've not even asked during the whole thing, and then we will end, I promise, and we will let you go. And it is, Mark said it in the show, these two ain't getting out of the South Coast. Did you ever get out of the Brighton South Coast area?
We went to Canterbury and we went to Winchester. Is that sort of on the edge of it, or not really?
To be fair,
the thing is, it doesn't matter where we were. They didn't bloody find us. So he can say whatever he wants.
this is the furthest we've ever been. We're up north.
We're actually getting hyperventilating.
I've got my passport.
Newsflash for you, this ain't North.
Is it not?
This is Midlands.
Oh,
This is the East Midlands.
It's north from
It's as far as we go.
Oh dear, absolutely. And that is exactly the answer that I was expecting as well. Right. All that we've got left to say is if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you go and follow us because there's plenty more things coming up, and this is how you can get in touch.
Twitter @HuntedPod, Instagram @HuntedPod, Facebook HuntedPod, email huntedpod@outlook.com, or send voice notes and WhatsApp messages to 07907 038 211.
Excellently remembered. And all that is left to say is that Kathy and Anida, it's been a pleasure having you on the Hunted podcast, but your time on the pod is over and you have been hunted.
Ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.